Welcome back for our youth baseball players and the maintenance. Today's video number 9 is going to be covering maintenance categories, things that as a player, a coach, an umpire, as a parent, anybody involved with baseball, what are the things that are associated with the maintenance of the game of baseball? Now, on the left hand side, we kind of got a generalized area of things that are included with maintenance. Uniforms, we're going to break down into each individual component. So with that, we're just going to use as a general term is the maintenance of uniform equipment. That includes safety equipment, so on and so forth, that are associated with the actual uniform. The fields, obviously the baseball diamonds themselves have to be maintained. Whether it be the stands of a Major League Baseball diamond to the infield dirt, all of it has to be maintained. The players, the more they're involved with the things going on to actually organize the game of baseball, will help them develop, going back to video number 8, the development for life, involving the teams. So if you have a baseball game or practice that's being planned, having the players not only show up for the practice, say 1 or 2 hours, each week, having them show up a half an hour beforehand helps set up the fields, operate the equipment to put down the foul lines, install the bases. That's all going to be helping them to prepare for later in life in their developments. It's part of the maintenance of carrying out the game of baseball. The mentality. Once again, this kind of goes back to video number 8. Realizing the mentality, the development of our players, that is also maintenance. It is part of the development of our players is maintaining them, making sure that they learn as they grow in the age to maintain their responsibilities, their accountabilities, creating a better individual in the end, no matter how they perform on the ball field. Their bodies, obviously physical fitness and their mental awareness, that is all part of maintenance. You are maintaining the individuals. Realize coaches, it's not only about how they're playing the position within a baseball field, is dealing with their personalities, maintaining and teaching them how to maintain their own personalities. Education. Obviously, summer ball is not occurring during the school year, but as they get older in life, as they start transferring to travel ball, even to fall ball or middle school or high school ball, their bodies need to be maintained. Are they hitting the gym? Do they know how to be physically responsible for muscle growth, to addressing injuries, cuts and bruises? If they feel exhausted, are they able to identify it? That is all learning the game of baseball through the maintenance of each individual. I put the abbreviation for individual because baseball is about individual development. That includes their maintenance. So that comes down to their diet, their mentality, what their home environment is about, and also their grades within school. Baseball, in conjunction with their education through either a private or public school system, will improve the players or individuals involved with the game of baseball in the long run. If they start to understand how to control their emotions, if they understand how the game of baseball is going on, it shows them some excitement to move on to the next level. That will be reflected in their grades within their education. So say they are taking, say a third grade level individual that's taking, multiplication or division as part of their school. When they start looking at the statistics of how they're performing on a ball field, how many times at bat did they get a hit? They'll understand how to formulate their batting average. So in conjunction with their multiplication and division education, they're going to be able to apply it to a real life situation. Okay, that's what's taught through any sport, but especially within baseball. There's lots of numbers to be calculated within the game. On a less, serious note, if you want to call it that, let's shift over to the maintenance of safety equipment. Now, in previous videos, we have identified all of the pieces of safety equipment, whether it be from your your hat to these sunglasses to a sliding mitt. They all need to be maintained. Your uniforms after a game need to be washed. That all comes out of the maintenance. Even the type of dirt used on the infield needs to be maintained for the safety of the players. If you have obviously bare spots or hard compacted clay on your infield, when players slide, they can get hurt. So maintaining the infield. Same goes with the outfield construction. Is it artificial rolled out grass? Is it natural seed planted? Is there sprinkler systems located on the ball field? So if they do catch a ball and they go to plant their foot down to throw the ball, are they stepping on the head of a sprinkler system? That all comes within the maintenance of the field, understanding what's there and how to avoid any kind of injury. Maintenance on equipment extends more than just to the uniforms that a player is wearing. Even the umpire padding, the face masks, the balls themselves, are they being maintained? Now, within the teaching of baseball, you'll understand why the baseball itself has to be maintained. Why does it have to be cleaned? Prior to the 1940s, when players would be using chewing tobacco, they would purposely spit on the ball to change the tint of the ball from a bright white to a dark brown. And out of that practice, there was multiple players with life-threatening injuries that occurred. So teaching the history of baseball, why a game ball has to be a brand new ball, or why during the game the umpire might pocket some of the balls or throw them to the dugouts to take them out of the play. Understanding that divots, a different grip to the ball, indentations on the ball, they all add to either an advantage or disadvantage to the ball players. That's all understanding the maintenance of the equipment. At the lower levels of umpiring, realize that they may not wear the undergarment protection with chest guards and so on and so forth. Previously, umpires held a very large 4-inch thick pad in front of them with just enough area for them to be able to rest their chin underneath the pad. Now, those pads had a life expectancy. So if they were left out in the sun or out in the rain, it would shorten the life expectancy. Even within maintenance of your batting helmets, the foam on the inside, the older they get, the more wear and tear on them, the more sand that gets dumped in the helmet, how they're being hung in the dugouts, that all change the life expectancy of the helmet. And the helmet manufacturers have gotten to the point where, obviously within their tags, they're saying that this helmet design is expected to live at this up until this expiration date. But within the maintenance of that equipment, you can extend the performance of that equipment or reduce it. If your players are obviously getting overexcited, or every time that they come into the dugout and they're disgusted with their performance and they're slamming their helmet on the ground, you'll see that it damages the helmet and it ruins the maintenance of the equipment. Gloves. Now, I have separated gloves from the actual mitts. Be aware of the actual definitions and what it's pertaining to. Your batting gloves. If a player goes up there, or a catching glove, a padded catching glove. If they're not maintained, clean, stored away for the year, say in the off season, in a desirable way, the next time you go to use them, the leather could be peeling off, they could be dry rotted, they could stink or smell or even form mold. Maintenance is included with all devices within the game of baseball. Even to the point where the bases themselves on the field are removed for storage during the times that the game is not occurring. The only thing that stays permanent is home base. Okay, so understanding how to maintain the base. The rubber will dry crack. So when a player might be sliding into the base, if they are sliding in with their exposed hand, are they exposed to those sharp surfaces from the cracks within the rubber? Moving on to the actual baseball mitts. Obviously, baseball mitts can get fairly expensive, and their life expectancy can be from anywhere from a month before they rip and tear. Maybe the threading comes unwound, to the point where some of your high grade gloves can last your entire lifetime if they are maintained. Whether you're using conditioners, if you're wiping away the rough dirt, when they're being stored, are you storing them so that they stay in the game ready form, so that when you pick them up for the next season, they're ready to go? Maintenance has a very important position within the game of baseball. Everything revolves around the ability to maintain equipment. Where some equipment can actually be determined to be illegal if it's not properly maintained. Moving on to other pieces of the uniform, your cleats. Again, if you're not maintaining them, if they're constantly covered with dirt or mud, when you go to put them on for the next game, it's going to interfere with your performance level, because if you're taking your cleats off to knock the sand out of it, now you're wasting time. If your shoelaces become dry rotted and you go to play, even though you've tied them tight, you might be running to a base and all of a sudden your shoelace breaks. It's going to cause you to reach your destination in a slower time frame. So maintaining your cleats, maintaining your feet inside of your cleats. Are they breathing? If you play in the rain, are you immediately changing your socks or your feet? Or are you starting to form feet ailments, whether it be athlete's foot, or starting to get blisters and raw feet? Again, maintaining your uniforms will help maintain your bodies. So a fairly shorter video. This could be taken to a very long extent. Realizing the maintenance for the individual ball player is very important, but also the maintenance of the field. So again, I don't have this written up on the board. If your players are coming to a practice or a ball game, how early are they showing up and how late are they staying? Or they show up the last minute or maybe even running late, and are they rushing to leave the field to go home after practice or after the game? Or are they sticking around to help dismantle the fields? Are they helping to put the foul lines down with the chalks? Are they helping clean up the dugouts of all the sunflower seeds or all the garbage? That is all promoted to the development of the players. It is something that is going to be carried through life, creating a better individual through the learning of the maintenance required within a ball game. As far as the previous video, I covered maybe some of the other job opportunities that can be learned, experienced within a ball game. Again, field maintenance. Again, if there's divots in the grass, if the infield dirt is not maintained, the issues and problems that might represent. The heavy equipment involved with maintaining a field. If anybody's ever really taken the time to think about this, how many times during the week does the field have to be mowed? How many times during the week does it need to be watered to keep the grass green? What kind of fuel is put into your lawnmower or your infield rake devices? Okay, so there's ample opportunity for our ball players to learn the maintenance required to carry out a ball game. Let's take it to the extreme level of Major League Baseball. Since these videos are more designed for our youth players, understanding what's happening at the Major League Baseball level. Realize how many baseball diamonds across the United States are affected by the politics. Now, are they able to understand why, maybe say like the stadium in St. Louis Cardinals, why they're having a hard time filling the stands? Okay, with a little bit of exposure, even at the younger levels, when it comes to running concessions, are players filling in? Okay, many of the travel organizations, for example, if you are a parent, you're required to actually serve so many hours inside of the concession stands, either during your players' time or during tournament times when your players may not be on the field. Are they working inside of the concession stands with you? Are they learning the public service of taking orders, exchanging money, making sure that the countertops and the concession stand areas are maintained? Are they changing the garbages? Are they addressing before the game if there's any ground bees or hornets' nests around the baseball diamond, underneath the grandstands. Major League Baseball has a professional in every one of those job descriptions to help carry out a successful ball game. Even to the point where Major League Baseball has gone to the extent of where they've gone to playing underneath domes, so they can continue to carry out the schedule of the ball games without the interference of the weather. Okay, so having somebody show up and be active within the things that occur to plan the game and the things to close down the baseball fields themselves is an educational moment for all of the players, even in the off season. Typically for local recreational ball games during the winter months, especially where we're located, the fields aren't used at all, so grass will start to grow up through the infields. Are you then going to the fields and help maintain them during the cold months of the year? Are you going and just picking weeds, so on and so forth, that when it comes time for the first practice, you're not worried about picking up the grass and weeds that are through it, or chemically treating the grass that might be growing up along the fences? There's all kinds of things involved with the maintenance involved with baseball, and it's all an education system for our youth players. Teaching them what that happens at our Major League Baseball diamonds will help them reflect that performance even at the lower levels. So again, this comes down to coaches. Are you experienced in the entire realm of the industry of baseball, from the top to the bottom, to where you're coaching your kids to realize all of those different aspects? Or are you just a volunteer that wants to be there because you want to be the coach of your kid's team? Good question. Be humbled. It's hard to find volunteers for our younger youth organizations that really know what they're doing. Those that are experienced with that kind of stuff are usually teaching or coaching at higher levels because they have that experience, they have that knowledge. But that doesn't say that an 8 or 9-year-old that learns the fundamentals of the game can't be an umpire of the actual game. There is instances right now in the industry for lower levels of play in Babe Ruth and the Cal Ripken series, where the umpires are actually 8 or 9-year-olds. If you don't believe me, type it into YouTube. Okay, there is a 11-year-old now. He's been doing it for 2 years. That doesn't necessarily play the game of baseball as a player. His interest is to become the umpire. It's outstanding that he has recognized that at such a young age, and has the support of both of his parents and the leagues that he is umpiring for to give them the respect. Okay, he knows how to read the rules, how to enforce them, how to carry out a fair game. That's outstanding. A diamond in the rough, if you will. But this is the point of every coach. What are you passing on to the players within the maintenance of the baseball game and their individualism? With that, we're going to move on to video number 10. I haven't necessarily decided. I want to do this within 12 videos, so that leaves us 3 videos to cover everything that I have not covered so far within our youth baseball. I haven't decided exactly which one to do yet. I know I want to cover individual positions. Catcher, I want to have a separate video altogether. And pitcher, I want to have a separate video altogether. So that leaves one video here to cover any additional information needed to share with our youth baseball players. So with that, look on the back side. I can't give you an idea of what it's going to be about. I'm going to save the pitcher and catcher's position for the last 2. So let me gather some information together here. If you have any suggestions after watching this video, in approximately half an hour, I'm going to move on to the very next video. So if you see this within the next few minutes after being downloaded, please write in. Maybe there's something I have not covered that maybe you've passed on to your youth players or within your youth organizations that is going to be interesting to somebody first getting in. Okay, both player or parent alike. There's a lot of negatives that we could cover in videos pertaining to baseball, period, whether it's daddy ball, to the way that maybe travel ball is being organized and carried out. I don't want to get into those negative things. Everybody that experiences it knows the problems and issues that we are dealing with. I know about all the politics that happen behind the scenes with nonprofit organizations that are in travel ball. It's an ugly thing to get involved with. Try to keep your players away from the bureaucracy and politics of travel ball. Again, take what baseball has to offer for the positive. Don't concentrate on the failures or the negatives. Okay? Use it as a tool to help develop your players in life. What's going on behind the scenes with travel ball is very ugly. Even lawsuits towards the Major League Baseball Little League organizations. I believe in 2017, 2018, some major changes had to occur. Profit margins, who's getting money, and so on and so forth. That does not need to be important to your players. Leave that for the politicians, the bureaucrats, so on and so forth. That is not for these videos. So with that, we'll catch you for video 10. I'll think about what the topic will be, and we'll see what we can cover. See you then.